I've been working and working on that. Oh shoot, I don't have, well, we'll be on the screen soon. I don't have my tooth in. So I have been working and working on that trifecta, and I still can't get it quite to work. So I think it's because in that particular design, we have overlapping features. So what I'm going to want to do, I'm going to flip to my computer screen and pull up what I'm working on. Let me get everything so I can see the chat and all at the same time. Hi, Katia. Oh, where'd my hello go? Well, hi, Janella and Katia. I think I'm all live now. Can you hear me and see me? Well, you can't see me. You can see my Inkscape screen. I can I don't have these arranged quite right. But we're going to do a different design tonight because I still cannot get this one. Whoops, forgot to get to my rotate tool. I'm going to, and I think the reason is that, I guess this needs to be up higher. That we've got overlapping shapes. I'm just going to get these. I'm going to align the bases of these two. And I'll show you again. Okay, great. I'm just going to free rotate this one so that I can get it into place. I think it is because we've got the overlapping edges. So we're going to try doing a different design, and someday I'll figure this one out. I'm going to move that over to the right a little. And what happens is because we've got the overlapping lines that we don't need, um, I've got to find the right way to get them together because if I just do this and group them and go to, I have my path already open. If you don't have a path, your path open, you can find it by going to path and down to path effects. Then you'll get your path effects. And you can see it says G6, so I know that because it's grouped into one, it's supposed to work. But if I click on the down arrow and go and find my knot, which is up in the top area, I'm going to zoom in so you can see. See, now these are going right. This one isn't. They're not going right where there's overlaps because the overlaps don't seem to go together, and I haven't figured out the right way to get them out. So we're going to do a different one that I know works, and we'll leave this for some time later. So I'm going to start from the beginning on this one. And similar to last week, but we're not going to be using the um, shape builder tool. We're going to start with the two circles. And I'm going to draw from the center. So I'm going to hold both my shift and my control key. and get a nice circle here. And back to my selection tool. And on this one, we're going to definitely always just do copy and paste. So now we've got our two circles. And we're going to make sure, we're going to select both of them. I'm going to close my screen down a little so I can see more of my. I'm going to get rid of my layers for now. I'm not going to work in layers and label them because I need to go to my align tool. Oh, I know another thing we want to make sure of is when we're doing this, if we go to our fill and stroke menu on the stroke style, again, we want to make sure we have this third cap to the right so that we have the square cap. And for anyone who hasn't used this before, on this one, you can see the little black dotted line up the center does not go all the way to the end. Now on a rounded corner, this one, a round cap, we also have the center line that doesn't go all the way to the end. And that means the black lines, black dotted lines that go up the center, at the end of those is actually where the ending node is. So if you were putting something together, you'd want the two, say if we were making a corner out of this one, the two lines, the vertical and horizontal, they would have to have their nodes meet up to be right in place. Whereas this one on the far left, this is called a butt cap, and you'll notice the dotted line goes all the way up to the edge of the white line. So that means the node is right at the end. So when you start putting these together, you can get where you get the corners not matching upright and extra pieces sticking out, extra little triangular parts sticking out. So that's why we use this one. So what we're going to do, I made sure of that. Oh, and one thing when I drew the circle, I didn't make sure it was, we drew object, so I'm going to go to path, object to path. So both of these are paths now. So I'm going to now go with, I'm going to unselect them and select both of them at the same time, just to make sure things work right. I'm going to go to, we're going to use the same shape we used last week, path, and down right to here to intersection, and click that. So now we have this shape. It looks a little bit fat to me instead of long, so we can always reshape this. I think that looks a little better. Right now I've got a vertical and horizontal guides in, but I'm not using them at the moment. But now I'm going to copy this one. And we can right click and just go copy. Whoops, I don't want to be on my rotation, and then do paste. So I've got two of them. I'm going to select both of them. We better move one of them. We need to we're going to have one angled. So I'm going to select the second one I made. And I'm going to hold control and go 1, 2, 3. Now we want this one down so that you see that the bounding box, the dotted outline of the selection, is a perfect square. And for me, it was 3 steps down. And if I'm not mistaken, we have to change the other one also to make it 3 steps down. Okay, so this is the shape we're going to want. And this time we're going to select both of them. In our alignment, we're going to select both. Hi, Kathleen. We're making a different motif. I was showing them how the triangular, the triquetra that we were trying to make last week, um, the two, I don't, did I keep it up here somewhere? No, I didn't. You know, we had the bottom two pieces, I can realign this, where they were overlapped, their top edges matched, and then when we brought the third one down, we had duplicate lines where they crossed over each other. And I still cannot figure that out. So I'm going to go back and get this in place. So what we did this time, we definitely used copy and paste. And this time we used circles. You can go back and watch. We drew the 2 circles and then aligned them and did an intersect. We aligned the bases of the circles, overlapped them like we did last week, and then did, with them both selected, we were able to do path intersection to get this shape. And now I've copied them, copied the one of them and pasted it. And now we want to, this week, we're going to align the third one to the right. And notice I've got selection area selected relative to the area selected. We don't want to do it relative to the whole page because everything else that's on the page will get selected and the alignment will be in a weird place. Your items will jump around to get aligned. Even the two, the triangle and all that I have off the paper. So we're going to align the centers both vertically and horizontally. So now these are totally aligned. But notice here, none of our lines, they're crossed, but they're not, there's no double lines where one line of the one tilted to the right is not overlapping exactly the one to the left. And that's what makes the difference. So I know there's more steps to get that trifecta made. But now we can make a circle. I'm just going to make it smaller than the size of this, of these together. So I'm going to go from somewhere near the center and draw a circle. Now we need to get all 3 of them selected. I don't know what this is over to the right. I got an extra something over here to the right. I get my selection tool to get rid of it. Now when I select these 3, oh, I didn't make the circle into a path, so I do want to make sure the circle is object to path. I'm going to select all 3. Again, I'm going to center a line, the third to the right up here and the down right below it, center on the horizontal axis. So now they should all be centered. Now I'm going to get these. I didn't even need these for this design. Now I'm going to select all 3 of them. I'm going to group them. My lines are really thin, so I'm gonna really get this bigger. We might not see quite all of it, but I guess we can. And now I'm going to go to path, select my down arrow. You have all the different categories, and the knot tool is up under the edit tools. Do not. Now it looks to me, if we zoom in and look at every place on it, every one of them has the intersection like this. Now, if we zoom in really far, like I said last week with the trifecta, um, you can see that the end caps aren't parallel to the lines of this one that's going over. Which, I'm going to zoom out again. Oops, you know what? I forgot to, I have my cord right next to me because I'm sitting in a different place in the house this time. And I have it here, but I need to plug it in and turn my power on. Okay, almost there. Except I'm sitting on my mouse now. Let's hope he doesn't try and get under inside my cushion and run away. Okay. Oops, now I gotta go and I gotta go into my settings and get my. Oh, I didn't turn off my sound either. There, my sound. Oh, wait, no, we need the sound because I don't have the camera hooked up here to. So I need to make my brightness back up. All right, now where's that better? Except I'm not seeing your. Hold on, I seem to have accidentally. Says it's live now, but I can't see my chat window. I have lost my chat window. And this I don't know how to get out of. Give me a minute here. Okay, I have my window back so I can see the chat box. Sorry about that. Always things that happen. So now if I back out, on a design like this, we would want to just make sure that each place that our intersections are, that they are going under, over, and check to make sure they're all correct. So I did the circle and then I would go around and check these and make sure they're all over under. Because occasionally they can get out of order. And if they do, you just need to, I'm getting my node tool now. See how it's on this particular selection or node? If I click it, this one right here changes. Now I've got an over and an over. And this one needed to be under like it originally was. So again, I'll click on it. How did I get my circle? Now I can't see my circle to switch it. And I know it's supposed to come back up and be there so I can switch it back. Let me back out. Maybe I need the whole thing selected to start with. I think what happened is because I changed, no, I still have my overs and unders. Now let me go get the node tool. Here, okay, so now I've got my little blue circle around the node tool again. And now that I have that, I can click on it and it has switched it. It's supposed to switch it back to be under, but I'm still missing that one. And I'm going to ignore that for now because I don't know what I messed up on. But the rest of them are okay. I shouldn't have changed that one. It was fine to begin with. Um, what was I wanting to say? When we get back out on our designs, it doesn't really, I don't think, look that bad. Although this one over in this upper right, um, I'm going to zoom way in on just that one. You can kind of tell it's not quite right. And this is a point which is kind of irritation. One of the things I can do, I don't have everything, I'm going to back out. I need to select every, I want to select everything but my extra triangle and this extra little piece I have there. I want to make sure I have all three selected, and then I'm going to use the N key on my keyboard to get my nodes. Now, for the gap, we've got two things that we could do. And one of them, get my magnifying glass again, is to close this gap a little. So let me get my, oh, I know why I backed out. I was going to select all three. Select the entire thing again. Now I'm going to go in because that gave me back my path menu for this, or my path menu. We could change the gap length. It's set at 3 right now. I'm going to make it 1. I had to enter after I put the 1 in. That's too close. Let's make it 2. Not 200, please. Just, oh, there, just 2. Now it's closer, but it's still, the top or the bottom right corner on the top line is close, and the other bottom one was. But if we want to make them more parallel to the line, we're going to have to do it manually with our node tool. And unfortunately, there is not a quick and easy way to do this. We need to be able to, we're supposed to be able to, and I have done it before. I may have to have just one line, this line selected, the line that's going, I'm going to select off of it. Zoom into this one. I think we only want the one that's going under because that's the one that's making the gap. So now I'm going to go to my node tool. I had a feeling tonight was going to be another night. I need that time off to really work with this. Um, because I know there's a way, and this design I've been making actually comes from, let me see if I can, this, if you have problems, try following this tutorial. It's Iron Echo Design, and it's the Inkscape Celtic Knot tutorial. And he's making this. Now he's using fatter lines, but if we go right back here, whoops, I want to get up to where he showed that connection before he fixed it. Okay, right here, see how his is on
extra nodes. This is the square cap, and all I have to do is move them so they're better in line. Down here, check this out, measure. Hit this tool right here and you can draw between 2 points. Tool, now with the whole thing selected, grab everything, go to path, stroke to path. Here is why we changed that stroke style to the square cap. If I go to edit paths by node, click on one of them and I zoom in, you can see I've got these 2 extra nodes. This is the square cap, and all I have to do is move them so they're better in line. Down here, check this out, measure. Hit this tool right here and you can draw between 2 points. So I know I'm 2.2 millimeters. Helps you be a little bit more accurate than eyeballing. And we'll move to the next one. Through the magic of editing, I'll do them all at once. Actually, just kidding. Before I go to the reveal with them all cleaned up, let me show you one of the hacks that I use. If I click on this middle shape right here, it doesn't matter which one it is, and I go to stroke and add my stroke to the width that I want. Now when I click on the other shape and go to edit paths by node, it's very easy to drag it right into place. Just makes it go faster. Okay, back to the editing. And there is the magic of editing. I'll take off the stroke. Here is our Celtic knot. Now there are other methods to make these with Inkscape, and I've seen some great tutorials. Logos by Nick comes to mind. There is a rumor that Inkscape developers are currently working on a shape builder tool, just like Adobe Illustrator has. I think it might make methods.
That is what I am supposed to be able to do here. And it may be that I'm just not seeing those 2 little, I should have a dot at each end. I'm going to zoom in even closer because I've got much, much skinnier lines than he had. So now let me use my node tool. I wonder if, see, I'm not getting them. Now I have before been able to get them. And I was able to move this corner closer so that my end of my line was perpendicular or parallel to the edge of the line going over. So that's a detail that I'm going to have to work on. So try different designs like this. And once you get them made, save them into a file that you have labeled as Celtic templates. So you can reuse the shapes you've made. Now, what's going to happen is, I'm quite sure, if we group this, I still have those. And I'm going to try this, and we'll see if it works. So I'm going to copy it. I'm going to open a new file. And I'm going to paste it in here. Now I'm going to zoom in. Whoops, I got to resize my window. Yes, it has kept our connections. So if you wanted to make, and this whole thing you could resize to make it the size you want. So you could make it smaller and use it as the center, just the way it is, for a bigger design, and then start making a design around it. I would make sure first that the whole thing is grouped, and I would make sure that I have a layer. This is on layer 1, so I might name it, I don't know what this is called, this particular Celtic. Trying to rename it here. I would rename it and say it, maybe give it the name Celtic, whatever you'd want to call it, or it might have a real name. And then start a template so that you have all of these across here. And so you can then, if you do pull one out of here, it's going to change everything. So you would always want to have your template piece up, and usually if I don't want to actually pull something apart, I'll put it up here onto I call this the artboard. I think some Inkscape might call it the desktop, and this is your paper that you're drawing on. But in Illustrator, we always call it the artboard, so I know sometimes I'm going to call it that. I would then copy the whole thing. I think I just duplicated it. I probably wouldn't duplicate it. I'd copy and paste, because if you want to use the, I think you would lose you might lose your gaps. But if you're going to build more around it, you might not want the gaps to start with. You might want to build around it and then select the entire thing. And like I said, the only caveat is you should check and make sure everything still is over and under correctly. Because it's a fairly new tool and sometimes there are bugs in them. So are there any questions or comments about this? I don't have any shapes to build. Oh wait, you know what? I do have. I guess I know what oh, not on here. This is my new document. I want to go back to my other document. I'm going to save this with a name on it for my template. Now on this page, I think what I'm going to do is copy it, paste it, and I'm going to use this one to pull some things apart. Now maybe I'd still want one of the shapes. So since whoops, Excuse me for stuttering there. No questions or comments. Okay. But you can see how this tool does work. You're going to have to watch if you're putting shapes together, you don't have overlapping lines. And at some point, I'm going to figure out. Oh, good. I'm glad you feel it's useful. I'm going to figure out how you work and get rid of the overlaps. If you can intersect would give us just this piece in the middle. I know there's a command that would give us the outside pieces, I think, or we might have to go to the shape builder, but even then picking them apart, they each have their own outlines. So I've got to find the way that you can do it so that um, it becomes one piece that will give us what we need and work correctly. But at this point, like say I wanted a, right, I'm going to copy and paste this once more. So I'm saving this on my new design also, and then copying and pasting that. So I have the design I'm going to work on, and I still have kept my copy of that in case I need it. And this one I'm going to use to ungroup and pull apart my pieces. Well, object ungroup. Now it's apart. Okay. Now, if I wanted to do um, something else, maybe I would want to out here, if I pretend this is a small ring, and it's a split ring, I'll make it smaller. And maybe put split rings around. If I fit one here, I'm just going to duplicate and pull them over. Well, maybe I'd want this one and make it overlap there. I'm just going to copy and paste, I guess. My duplicate didn't work well. Nope, now I have extras. It did work. If I want to put these end to end, I think this one is going to be higher. So it might give me a different shape if I want it. Oh, I have lots. Um, I might want to overlap one. Maybe if I did a second round of split rings, I'd want to overlap those. Then I'd have 3 overlaps going. So you could just keep on going, doing, um, a new design. If I consider these rings, I might want one there. One over here. And maybe one in the middle for a clover, maybe not. So this is how you can start designing. Now for this, we really do have 4 sides on it. We've got 4 corners. Plus, we've got places to join on the circle too. So, and you might want to put a braided piece that goes around. There's so many different things that we can do. And so I think I would build up this corner if I knew I wanted it to go all around, and then copy and paste it around on the 4 sides. And you'd have to figure out how you're going to join them. If you're doing a little pencil drawing along with it, which is always nice to do, you could draw in, and see. Now, if we have these so that they match this outside corner, then as we flip it around, we could, we've got space from here, and then, let me just copy this. Copy, paste, turn it around. If we're doing this, then you know you've got something you're going to need to fill in here with something. It could be something that just goes from this top right ring over to this ring. You might want to put something in between. So at this point, I would start figuring out, you might want to design off the corner too. Um, and what it might be nice to do then, I have a feeling we've got these at, I gotta grab up into my ruler. These might be, yep, they're at 45-degree angles. So if you pull those down from each corner, I can't get my one to grab up here. Here it goes. This would give you an area to design to go to where they're going to join together and design like one little angle to the right, and then when you copy and paste it, you would have, I guess if I design it on the right angle over here, I'd want to flip the entire thing to the left so that this piece that's joining on, it's to the right of this motif, then this motif would be placed in the center and the new joining piece would be here up against here. If you wanted to be rotating to the right, you'd want to design on the, you'd have this matching there, and you'd want to design on the left so that as you flipped it, you'd have your left and your middle section. Does that make sense? So this is the way that we can make things. We can join them together and come up with new designs. Did we start at 6:30 or was it 7 when we got going? I don't know. But anyway, I have to admit, because I was trying to figure out the trifold, or the trifecta, we'll call it, trefoil, original pattern, I didn't get anything else planned for today. So, this gives you things to work on and start to make some designs. Make some simple ones. Great. Thanks, Janella. So start just trying to put some designs together. Now, I wanted to get into pencil drawing, but didn't make it for the afternoon class. Um, I would suggest even working in Inkscape, if you're going to work on a Celtic design, I think it'd be easier to at least have your centerpiece down and start maybe just pencil drawing in some things to see what you're going to want. You might even want to, at this point, tat your centerpiece and then start. Now, oh, I know what I haven't mentioned either. I'm going to get rid of these. Maybe just keep a couple of them. And I would, if I got a next round, make sure you copy it, paste it, put it offside on your artboard area, and also copy it and paste it into your template, because then this new outside line, you might want to put a different center in it, but different center in it, and still use that outside line or portions of it. So everything you make, if you keep sections of it on a separate template, all you have to do is copy and paste those to put them together. And if you've tatted any of them, you'll know exactly what size they are and the number of stitches that are in them. So if you have all that information later, it's going to be much easier to put together your designs when you have some of these things already made. You know, like last week I made the wavy line. I didn't try and make it exactly even. And then the other one to make the braided effect. And we can do that also, even by just putting these together end to end. You've got your left side, and then I would copy two of them. Whoops, I got that other one. Copy them, paste them. Oh, I got more than just these. This new copy and paste tool drives me crazy. Okay, I just want these two. Copy, paste, put it end to end. Then you could select all four and copy all four and paste them. And you've got your evenly spaced braided overlapping chains. And that might be what you want to do out here. Just that. Um, see if they fit in here somehow. Maybe these three would if they were vertical, straight vertical. Oops, they didn't quite make it. Over here. And still, you could overlap. You might be able to make it, make the two outer ones smaller so that you could overlap the center one, but maybe not the end pieces. Take one of the ends and make it so it, you know how you can, split rings are kind of bendable at the joins. Maybe you could make it join here and put another one on the other side and have a little different shape. It's not much of a different shape, but you could make it more, you could manipulate everything to make it more. So I think with what we did last week and talking about this week, combined with the other diagramming we've done um, for Celtic design, again, I would use like say your size 20 thread. If you work with that the most, I would make myself a braid of these so I have the right number of stitches for that size thread and know what size the diagrammed shape is and how many stitches it is. So start making yourself some actual tatted samples to go along with this. Like make all three of them, make your one chain, make your second chain, do your joins at the crosses if you want to. If you're doing a close together braid, you're not going to need that. It's going to be stable enough as it is, especially when you're joining it to something else. So you don't have to bother with those. Although I don't know how much, if your rings are bigger, you could get the crossovers, or if they're wider, you could get your crossovers could get out of place in the one spot. But like this, if you had three joins, both corners in the middle, that would hold it stable. So it just depends upon the design you're going to make, whether you would want to add any joins in. If you're doing like just a tic-tac-toe board overlapping, thanks, Janella. If you're doing like the tic-tac overlapping lines, size 20, they're going to be close enough together, I think, that they're going to stay in place. Who was it that showed that green Celtic design that you'd tatted? It was someone else's pattern. I would love to know which pattern it is because I'd like to tat it and see how it tats together so I can learn more about actual tatting the Celtic tatting patterns. And here we're designing them, but I'd like to, it would help to know. And I'm going to do some of my own experimenting. I should have more time now to do this. So I think I'm going to just end here. Um, it's felt like a very long day, a very long week. And I think we have enough. Just start practicing, start working with it. Try the knots and see how the overlapping works for you. You may want to, maybe if I had made these lines, the regular Celtic designs, they're working with thicker lines than we do for a tatting drawing. So that might be why he had the end nodes on there. Or he had those, like they were extra nodes at the end of the square cap. And see if you can get those. Um, and remember, on this Celtic, you're definitely going to want to make sure that every layer has a name, and so you can keep it all straight. You should do that in every design. I don't always do it on when I'm showing it here because it takes so much time to make new layers and get everything going. But when I will sometimes go over that as I'm drawing too and use those. So I think there was one more thing I was going to say, and I'll be darned if it came into my mind and blew right back out again. Went right straight through. So I guess that's it. If you come up at having a week off ends up where we actually have 2 weeks of free days. If something comes up, just email me. I don't always get back to everybody right away. I'm not good at answering right away, but I'm going to work on being much, much better at that. Um, so I will keep track and answer questions if you'd like, if you have any, or just want me to, like what Tasneem Sadiq does is she emails me a lot and sends me everything she's as she goes the pieces and uh, usually wants to discuss something. She might have some questions and all, and so then give her my thoughts on it, and that's a good way to work, especially if we're going to work every other week. And I'm happy to have you email me and talk about these things. And it really gives us more things to talk about in the next class, which is really nice. So if you guys don't have anything else, I'm just going to call it a night. And I will see you in 2 weeks. So happy tatting and designing, and hope you have happiness in your life every day. Find more time in the day, yes. Yeah, that's. I tend to be one of those people that's got to sit and just relax and let my brain go as much time as I'm intensely working on something. Um, it used to be I was just always going and I was when I taught at the community college in the multimedia program. I would teach. I was teaching 4 days a week, and I was teaching the multimedia technology classes were always 4 hours in the morning and 4 hours in the afternoon and 4 hours in the evening. So sometimes I'd be teaching morning, afternoon, and evening, and then I'd usually take a class every semester because when you work there, you can take a class for free. So, and they said, "How do you do it all?" And I moved at one time. We moved houses, and I don't know. It was a little crazy, but I did it. But now I cannot do anything like that anymore. Thank you, Janella, and you're welcome, Kathleen. I'm having a ball with this, so just need more time. So bye for now, everyone. See you later. Yes. And you're welcome, Katia. So bye bye for now.